Joining me now, Georgia Republican Senator Kelly Loeffler. Senator Loeffler, welcome. Thank you so much for the time. What is the timing on this second motion? Will it get done soon?
Well, Deirdre, it's great to be here. I think the timing is relatively soon. We understand the urgency of getting this relief out, not just to American companies, but American workers. So I look for it to come later today. Hopefully we can move quickly and get on to the next order of business, which is my understanding based on our meeting, some additional aid.
So what was some of the biggest concerns, without naming names, Senator, in the room? Was it the size? Was it the timing? Was it which industries to help? What was it like being in there and discussing what has to happen?
Well, certainly there's a couple things we're looking at here. We've now passed the first bill, which was the $8.3 billion in funding to get the health care services up and running that we need to address this virus. The second bill, which was passed by the House and amended, there are some concerns with the manner in which we approach some of the mandatory paid leave and making sure that it doesn't have adverse incentives for companies to lay off workers. So we want to make sure that this bill is aimed at achieving what we want to, which is stability for employees and help for small businesses and employers. So if there is a third bill, I think we've got to keep that focus right there, which is on business and individuals.
That's great. I mean, I've heard this is actually sort of a worst case scenario from a business perspective, but I heard of one chef who essentially laid off his entire executive team, wants them to file for unemployment, but yet wants them to keep working for him during this time. So that's what you're trying to block, essentially.
That's right. We're trying to head off any adverse incentives or issues in that bill. This needs to be to empower businesses, to empower workers, to have the confidence to keep their doors open and keep serving the public. This is an unprecedented time. I really commend the work of Secretary Mnuchin. He's done a fabulous job of keeping this together and moving it forward, and we completely understand the urgency.
So, Senator, let me ask you just your opinion about the size. So you mentioned that first sort of mega bill, for lack of a better term. Then this one is $850 billion in addition. We heard the president say he wants to go big versus a kind of slow drip. Do you agree with that? And if so, why is that way better?
I absolutely agree with the president. Look, the president is a business person. He understands what it takes to capitalize and cash flow a business. And this is what we're looking at right now. Companies of all sizes have revenues that are drying up. We need to address that to protect the American worker. And I think that assistance is needed right now. And we're in a position to do it. And we're not going to leave until we get that done.
So let me ask you, even just from the way that you do your job day to day, is it just easier because there's fewer meetings? Meaning if you come in and this $850 billion is put into place, I am assuming that means then you can focus on other things and more implementation versus discussing, I don't know, 10 extra details by day.
Well, we'll certainly see. There's a lot of work to be done, and it's day to day here. Things are changing so fast, not just on the health front, which we have to stay very focused on fighting this virus, but the economic health. I asked a question in the meeting about the health of our banking sector. I want to make sure that that lifeblood of our country, the capital flowing through it, stays healthy. And Secretary Mnuchin confirmed that we're in a very good place with the banks. We're in a good place, but we need to keep supporting American business and the American worker.
Were you cheered then by the Fed's recent action? Essentially, any business that needs to have extra cash can get it a little bit more easily at this point.
Yeah, I was a big advocate of making sure we shore up the commercial paper market. Yeah. I think the Fed's actions around that announced today have been tremendously helpful in creating confidence by companies, by corporates, that they're going to have access to that important window. And I also think things like the discount window. I understand that 8 banks have tapped the discount window today. I hope more banks will do that and get the lending going to small businesses.